Yeah.
The Upstate Golf Guys podcast is brought to you by Golf Week Amateur Tour, New York Upstate, a national tour for all golfers and skill sets in its 31st year. We represent the New York Upstate region, and to join, visit amateurgolftour.net and click Join Now for the best amateur golf tour in the country. David Calise, with his beautiful home for rent in Saratoga Springs. This mansion is located on Airbnb. What a way to enjoy Saratoga with family and or friends on a vacation to golf, go to the horse track, or relax in this beautiful home. For more information, go online to Airbnb/H/mansion in Saratoga Springs for information. Northeastern Insurance Agency for all your insurance needs. Voted #1 insurance agency in the Capital Region in 2024 by the Times Union. For any insurance needs, call Jared at 518-956-3753. The Bunker Indoor Golf, located in over 7 locations across the Capital Region and host of our Golf Week Am Tour Winter League on Saturday mornings. From golfing on their state-of-the-art simulators or having a delicious meal with your friends or family, come on down and visit one of the Bunker locations. Visit them online, getinthebunker.golf. For more information of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast and their partners, visit upstategolfguys.com.
Welcome back to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. We are at episode 71, and we have an awesome guest in studio tonight. But before we get this party started, I want to give a couple of my affiliates a shout out. Marty at Trouble Off the Tee. He's putting out some awesome hats, guys. A lot of them are really funny for us hackers out there. So check them out at troubleoffthetee.com. and use Upstate 20 at checkout to save yourself 20%. And I've also been kind of forgetting about Slickest Golf, my guy over there that makes some really cool head covers. Mine makes my bag look dope. I'm telling you guys, check him out, slickestgolf.com. He makes some magic happen, guys. So hit him up for sure. But we got a couple of the familiar voices in studio tonight. Florida Mike, what's going on over there, buddy?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing good. I know you're a little warmer than me. It's like 88 down there or something. I think it just barely.
Got some sun, you know.
I know. I see it. And Adam, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm sitting here just like the Phillies, 3-1, doing well. Happy to be here.
You think you're a joke?
Ready to get going. I wanted to start it early. I want to throw the bomb out quick.
You're
in the first shot.
You're a jokester. Jokester. But guys, we have a returning guest. He was in the studio way back when we first were getting rolling with this thing. Now he's a good friend of mine. We chat every day. Good Mets fan, and he's always throwing me out some pointers because he's a coach, man. Coach Matt Mcgarvey, RPI golf coach, is in studio. What's up, my friend?
Thanks, my friend. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. You hit me up a couple weeks ago, and you're like, "Hey, man, how you been? Do you need some content? We have a new season started. What do you think? You want to do a podcast?" And I said, absolutely. I said, come on over.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So how have you been since last time I saw you?
Well, it's year 2 here at RPI for me, and we have a very strong team, just a roster that a lot of coaches would be dying to have. And we had a good fall. We had some good tournaments in our fall season. We play 5 tournaments in the fall and 5 more in the spring. But spring is really where it's at because that's where our league championship is. And that will be at Shenandoah at the Turning Stone at the end of the month. And the big prize to the winner, because you get to go to NCAAs if you win. And if you don't, your season's over. So eyes have been on the prize all year. It's been our team goal. Everything that we do is aimed toward achieving our team goal. And the guys talk about it every single day. and we're preparing. They're working hard. And yeah, we hit our first tournament on Monday.
Nice, man. Nice. And where was that tournament at?
The tournament was at one of the nicest places I've ever been. It's called Glen Oaks in Long Island. I had no idea it was so nice. They had the Barclays there a few years ago. Apparently DJ beat Spieth in a playoff, and they have 27 holes, but the place was great. And for March 31st to be so good, it was a real treat for the guys to get to play there. We met Craig Courier, and if anyone on the podcast is like, I've heard that name before. Craig Courier was the superintendent over all of Bethpage during the transformation.
Okay.
So you guys remember the first Open was in 2002, and a few years before that is when Tiger won, beat Sergio. And the transformation started maybe 5-6 years before that, where the idea was born at the USGA. Let's have an Open at a real public golf course. And they thought it was crazy. They thought that was the craziest idea ever. But from not only bringing the People's Open, as they called it, to a real public course and restoring the entire golf course, Craig oversaw all of that. And now he's got an awesome job at Glen Oaks.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Black Lab.
And you said that's in Long Island?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Black Lab following him around when he's working. And it was a real treat to get to play their golf course.
Nice.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I noticed Long Island, and a lot of times they wouldn't think of that area as being like a big golf course, but there's a lot of tough tracks down there.
There sure are. We all think of Bethpage, and in fact, we'll be going to the red course in a couple of weeks to play there, which is a real treat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as good as the black, except for the red. If you're ever looking to get down there, they let you have a golf cart on the red, but not on the black.
That too. I like to say there's a little more elbow room off the tee on the red than there is on the black, where there's none.
Yeah. No, there's isn't Shinnecock is down that way too, right?
Yeah, Shinnecock and National and Maidstone. Those are some of the real Sabonic, the real blue blood. Private clubs out there.
Yeah, it's amazing down there that being in the city, you wouldn't think that there's obviously living in Albany, we can drive in our cars, we can go down to different courses, even get memberships to private courses. You think like a city person, there's not much, but I mean their courses are beautiful down there. I mean even the Trump Links Ferry, I played that one, which is an outstanding course. It's like a big rectangle, and in it, it's just a links course, and you got, beautiful scenery, Liberty National, Glen Oaks. I mean, there's a lot of tough courses, and the U.S. Opens in New York a lot.
Yeah, man, and we got the Ryder Cup, baby. Let's go.
Ryder Cup in Bethpage. That's going to be cutthroat.
Yeah, I'll say.
Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
And you know what, Adam? Their season starts just a little earlier than ours does.
Yeah.
They got just a little better weather that they can get started, or sometimes they just don't stop.
Yeah.
If they're lucky, and they can play longer than we can up here.
It's more consistent. So they're not going to have a day like here where it's 73 and then the next day it's 36 degrees when you're going to work, and then it's 44 at the end. They're consistently in the 50s usually every day. So lucky for them.
Ain't that the truth? So how'd your boys do over there, Matt?
So we were second.
Oh, nice.
It was 4 pretty evenly matched teams, 4 good teams, but the Trinity guys are deep and they play great. But pretty happy with our start. Matt Buckley, who is our one of the best D3 players that you'll find, was solo second overall.
That's great.
Rodrigo and Jacob also top 10s, which was very cool.
That's awesome.
They're my horses. I mean, Matt and Jacob are, second year as co-captains, grad students, both of them, extremely bright kids, and provides so much leadership. Rodrigo is one of the best ball strikers you'll find. You'll see. He's a little Spanish kid. He's from Spain.
Nice.
And he absolutely stripes it. It is just the prettiest move you'll ever see. Nick Ventura, one of our freshmen, is cracking the lineup. And Nick's got a very bright future here at RPI. So we got a lot of guys who are always jockeying for position. They're out there duking it out to see who's going to travel. And we're in a good position for this spring. Pretty excited about it.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, here's your schedule, man. Here's your schedule. A couple more events you have coming up.
Yeah. One thing about the spring for college golf is that those of us who live up here and play up here, we can kind of ease into it, get our games in shape. These guys can't. They're putting it all in the hole, and they're counting every score in late March, early April. So they got to be prepared, and they worked hard. They worked hard indoors. They were outside playing, chipping and putting in March in cold weather, playing rounds at any place that was open. So this group has really put the work in, and we're heading to a real cool course near Hartford called Tumblebrook. If anyone ever gets the opportunity to play it, do it because it's really good. Then we will be home in our own backyard playing in Skidmore Spring Tournament at Boston Spa.
Yep.
The same weekend as the Masters. You'll see a lot of very distracted players who will be playing and then watching their phones in between shots, seeing what's going on. You might even see some distracted coaches as well who are doing pretty much the same thing.
Well, they got to learn. They got to learn from watching the golf shots. That's what I do.
That's right. But the Masters is kind of the kickoff to the season for all of us who love the game. So why not?
Yeah.
We all look forward to it. We're all excited about it. Then we'll, as I said, go to Bethpage to play the Red Course in Farmingdale Spring Tournament, which always draws a great field. Really fun opportunity to always play the Red, as I mentioned. And then our league championship, Turning Stone, Shenandoah is the host course. 3 days of stroke play, and may the best team win.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
That's great.
That is great. So I want you to remind me a little bit of how the college golf works in the format.
Sure. So a lot of folks who played college golf way back when were used to match play and used to, small tournaments that actually kind of similar to what we did Monday. That was kind of a throwback, or like I said, a match play format. Now they're all invitational. So you get 16, 18 teams, bring in 5 guys each, so you have a big field. They're essentially 2 days of stroke play where each day 4 scores count out of 5. So you can have one guy have a bad day and your team be all right, but you can't afford 2. Because if 2 guys play poorly, that really affects your team score. And it's great when someone bounces back. Maybe they have one bad day and then they come back and shoot 72, 73 a second day.
Sure, yep.
Those are things that teams need in order to win tournaments.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Awesome. So, God, I would love to come out there and watch your guys play sometime, man, because I'm sure that college golf is very competitive, fun to watch. You get a lot of do you get a lot of spectators coming following you guys, or I'm curious?
Yeah, they're spectator friendly. You see a lot of families, which is great to see. I mean, all these kids are far from home, and getting to see their families come to watch them play is one of my favorite things about being a coach. Sure. Getting to know them. But yeah, you see friends, you see girlfriends, you see other relatives or just fans or people who love the game. And it's great golf. D3 golf has come so far.
I'd love to go.
So many good players.
I'd love to come. I'd love to come sometime, man, and follow you around and well,
you had the Boston Spa one coming up.
Yeah.
Little home course. I
would rumble. At least maybe just see the guys tee off or something. I wouldn't follow you around the whole course, but yeah, I'd love to cheer you on, man, and be there for some support one of these days for sure, man.
We'd love that. I might even put you to work.
So. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. be like UGG Sports. UGG Sports.
Go around, do some live interviews to the guys, the mic. I don't want to put any extra pressure on them.
Wear some fancy suit coat and some John Daly pants with some shiny shoes. Yeah.
No doubt. But so how about yourself, man? How you been hitting them these days?
So kind of an interesting winter. I went to Vegas for 3.5 weeks. I had 2 work conferences.
Okay.
And in between, I just stayed with my best friend who lives in Henderson. So I got to play some desert golf out there. It was really fun.
Nice.
One day I went to the range and just stayed for like 4.5 hours. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, my season probably won't get going for another couple weeks, but yeah, I'll be ready to go. I feel great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting going.
Do you want to give a shout out to your spot, your home place?
Yeah. Shaker Ridge has been my home since 2011, and it's been the home course of the Engineers since 2017. We're having our first collegiate invitational ever in October at Shaker Ridge. We're very excited about that. And we've also been given a great honor. We're hosting the U.S. Open qualifier on May 12th. So you'll see the best of the best pros and amateurs who will be vying. You'll see 100 guys playing for like 3 spots.
Yeah.
That's how competitive that is.
That's great.
But it's a real honor to be able to have a USGA event at our golf course. We had the Mid-Am qualifier 2 years ago, 2022, I think, and the New York State Mid-Am in 2021. So we're no stranger to hosting top-level tournaments.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the guys going out there to play the course? I know you told me that it's going to be hell at that time. What are some of the holes that you could think of that are just going to be really tough for them, that's going to be really playing tight, or some of the greens, if any of those guys are listening?
So for anyone who's played Shaker Ridge on the podcast, here's the description, or if you haven't played it yet, it's not really hard off the tee. Like you can't hit it anywhere, but you just can't miss left for the most part.
Yeah.
It's what happens after that. The greens are very small. They're very well bunkered, and they're very fast. They're crazy fast sometimes.
Okay.
And what's going to happen in May is that the rough will just be a bear. So guys who don't hit fairways will have trouble hitting those small greens.
Okay.
And the course will stand up. If someone shoots, my prediction right now is 2 under will be medalist in that qualifier.
Wow. Okay, out of 100 guys.
Yeah.
Probably. Wow.
Yeah, nobody will shoot better than that. If someone does shoot better than that, then I'm going to be the first one with a hat off.
Right. Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
And I hope, some of my guys will probably try and qualify.
Yeah.
Which I hope they do. Certainly they know Shaker very well, so they should have a good home course advantage.
Nice. Adam, what's the one Troy is running?
Troy Country Club is the actual New York State Mid-Am.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
They're having the Mid-Am in September.
Yeah, that's a 3-day. That's a 3-day event that they have. There's a qualifier, I believe. I don't know where the qualifier is, but last year it was at Colony Golf and Country Club for the Mid-Am for this area. So I don't know where the actual qualifier is locally.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like 2 years in a row the Mid will be here in the Capital Region. It was at Schuyler Meadows last year.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Florida Mike, what do you think? Do you got any college golf down there like that you follow, or you got any, you have any
man, dude, I follow UF, baby.
Yeah, University of Florida. All right.
Of course. And I also follow Luke Clanton, obviously. He's pretty close, Florida State. Also, who doesn't know who Luke Clanton is if you follow college golf?
Yeah.
But yeah, I also go to Corn Ferry tournaments down here and watch them play, because my coach is a caddy on the Corn Ferry Tour. So he caddies for Carter Jenkins. So every now and again they'll play a Florida tournament. We'll go watch it.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun watching that level of play, college and Corn Ferry. It's awesome to watch.
Absolutely, man. Any level, collegiate level, Corn Ferry level. When you go see those guys play, like even when I watch champ guys play, like Adam, like in our Golf Week Am Tour, you definitely appreciate it. Hearing the clean contact, just watching that ball just soar, and when you hear the sound of a ball, like of a good contacted, like of a good hit ball, like it's just there's nothing like it. I love that sound as it going. It's awesome, man. I love playing with good golfers. It brings my game up, I feel like.
Well, for me, I like watching collegiate basketball over the NBA, because what they do is they're playing not for the money, they're playing for the recognition. March Madness is going on, they're trying to win that national title. These guys are playing for livelihoods, for futures, but they're also playing because this is it. You know what I mean? After college, some of them might go overseas, some might go to the NBA, but most of them are going to go find jobs and just play recreational leagues. It's the same thing with college golf, and it's the same thing with the Corn Ferry. These guys are grinding, and they're trying to take advantage of these last opportunities that they have to try to make something. Like we talked with the MMA fighter, he was doing the same thing. It's like a grind. I mean, that's exciting about watching, these guys, because they are playing for something, like Justin Thomas, a Dustin Johnson, these guys, if they don't make a cut, whatever, they still got millions of dollars in the account. Some of these Corn Ferry, collegiate, this could be either their future or they have to go find a new job and actually complete college. And, that's it. They just play, qualifiers when they're done. But that's what makes it exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Well, the RPI kids, I'm sure they will have no problem. RPI graduates getting a job when they
go. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're fine.
They'll be good.
they
like
better
Bill
not,
Nice.
They better not be thinking of being golf pros. They better be getting real jobs. But it's a good point. I think of some of the other teams at school where my colleagues who are coaches at RPI, great people. We have so many good people who are coaches, and they. No matter what the sport that they coach, pretty much when they cross the stage with their diploma, their career is over, those players. Golfers, it just gets different. Yes, you only get a few chances to play in something like the NCAA tournament. But I want to see my guys playing in U.S. amateur qualifiers and state amateurs and mid-amateurs, et cetera, winning club championships. And more important than that, teaching our kids how to play someday and playing the game for the rest of their lives. And this is the game that we love. We're all crazy about it, but loving it for the rest of your natural life is something that we can do. And that's something that's so special about golf.
Sure. Yeah.
That, eventually guys who play football and basketball, they give up those sports and they start playing golf.
Well, I mean, their body gives up.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, I was a big basketball player, and I was very talented. I could shoot well. I played point guard, even though I was 6'3", 6'2" in high school and college. But I shoot around here and there when I can. But I could still dunk. I mean, barely, but there's going to be a point in my life where when I jump up there, I mean, I'll be like Tiger sending out tweets saying my Achilles is still bad. It's still messed up.
Adam, we can't lose you, man. We can't lose you.
That's why I love it. That's why I love golf, is because of the fact that, you can go walk the course, you can get exercise, and you can play it. Like my grandpa played it until he was, he was dead. He was 95 years old, still golfing. I mean, I wouldn't even imagine right now at the age of 41, putting on a helmet and going to start, playing in these little recreational football leagues where these, these no pros, these Joe the pros think that they're still in the NFL, getting nailed. Like Johnny still plays flag football, and he's like, I might not be able to do this anymore. It's getting bad.
Yeah. Oh God. Listen.
No, Adam. The team needs you.
No. Yeah.
No injuries.
I gotta keep swinging that club.
I always tell people no injuries during golf season.
No, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, Brad.
Well, I know.
What's that, Mike?
He said no injuries during golf season. I said, don't I know it? I tried. I feel tough.
For real. Listen, I don't know if I told this story before, but it was like 2 weeks before our Cape Cod trip last year, Adam, and I was taking Millie out of my car, and I literally just something popped, dude, in my back, right? I ended up being okay, but like my first thoughts weren't like, oh, I'm going to be out of work, or I'm going to be like hurt at work, or sleeping is going to suck. My first thoughts were, dude, I'm going to miss golf, or my golf trip I'm going to be like, you're hurting or whatever. And it's like, literally, I ended up being okay, but it's just crazy because now anytime I pull a muscle or anytime like something happens to me, my first thought is golf. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Golf. It's crazy.
It's like Johnny a couple of years ago when he first, the first year he started, he was playing football, and he was telling me the story heading to Myrtle Beach, and he was saying like he played football, dislocated his shoulder, and it was out of joint, or it was out of place on his way home. And instead of worrying about his job, he was like, "Oh my goodness, I think I can't make my tee time now next week." He was like, and his arms just dangling in the back seat.
Yeah, and then my poor buddy Brad Scrounge. I mean, it was like a week before the season started.
Yeah,
and he was playing hoops weekly, and I might have like jinxed him. I might have mushed him because I was like, dude, you're getting old. I was like, you love golf. I was like, be careful. And literally he like texted our group text. He's like, I'm out for the season. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Brady
you got to be careful with it. You got to be careful how you talk to people.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like those announcers where they're like, "Oh, this guy has had a 3-putt in 26 rounds," and then boom, there it is. Like the guy 2 weeks ago, he played. They were saying he hasn't had a 3-putt in 2 years, and sure enough, he 4-putted right afterwards.
Wow.
And he's like, "Well, never mind."
Still no 3 putts.
Yeah, right. That's fine.
Yeah, true,
No
yeah.
doubt. No doubt. All right, we're gonna bring up your freshman, but I have a good question here for the listeners. I want to know how you help your freshmen transition from junior golf to college golf with the mindset.
Well, I lean heavily on our captains for starters because they establish our team culture. Matt and Jacob in the upperclassmen, Alex Weller, really established that team culture for the guys. Matt we found out yesterday, is a finalist for the National Byron Nelson Award, one of the most prestigious awards in college golf.
Let's
and
go.
The idea that a D3
awesome.
from upstate New York is a finalist for that is something that we're pretty excited about. But really, your team culture, and we're golfers, where it's an individual sport, but they're a team, and these guys are good to one another. So, in a unique situation this current season, because I have grad students on the team, Owen and Matt and Jacob. So that brought my roster to 12. So in terms of the 3 freshmen that I have, Nick Ventura, Cam, and Cam Duenwald, Matt Herchala, I wasn't expecting much from them. In fact, I gave them 3 jobs when they got here. Acclimate to school, learn the golf course at Shaker, learn the golf course, and be a good teammate. I really only gave them 3 jobs to do those three things while they're learning the ropes from their teammates. Nick has already cracked the starting lineup, which is cool, and I expect the others to follow soon after.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Can we bring up and show up your newcomers coming in?
Sure. So these youngsters are coming this fall, and while this spring is front and center, because our eyes, as I said, eyes on the prize, the big prize is winning our league tournament and going to NCAAs. But college coaches, we recruit early. And I had over 100 kids interested in RPI golf.
That's awesome.
Inquired to me. And from all over the world. And picking out the ones I wanted was, is a process, but is also a big recruiting class with a lot of talented kids. So I'm very proud to be adding 3 this fall. All have accepted, all have committed, and will be very successful RPI student athletes. Robert Chong from Taiwan, coming all the way from half around the world, is a fine young man. Zaid Yuan from LA, visited during the Shaker Ridge Invitational, got to meet all the gang, and he had a lot of people encouraging him to say yes, and he did, and we're very excited to have Zaiden. And Sujan is coming. Sujan Singh is coming in the fall as well. He was here for Accepted Students Day a couple weeks ago, and got to see the guys in action, got to meet everybody. So that'll awesome. Bring my roster back to 10, which is what I want going forward after having 12 this year. But it's fun stuff. And people ask about recruiting all the time. Do I recruit local players? Well, the answer is yes. But RPI is kind of a unique place. These guys study engineering. They study aeronautical engineering and electrical and mechanical and all these things. They're incredibly bright. So RPI attracts kids that want to study that. And I want them on my team because I look at my roster. I know that that's what the successful RPI player looks like.
Yep.
So I want them. I don't want to compete with other schools for the accounting majors. No disrespect to accounting majors, but you know what I mean.
No,
okay.
Totally.
I don't want to compete with them.
Right.
Because why would you go to RPI to do that?
No, yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Absolutely. No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So all right, I want to ask you a couple practice questions.
Sure.
This is a good one.
Sure.
What are some of the best practice drills that your team uses?
Well, I like to see guys. They all have instructors.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not an instructor, nor do I pretend to be one on TV. Okay. I want them doing their drills that they're comfortable with, that they work on with their instructor. Very similar to, I have drills that my instructor gave me to work on. Okay. His name is Dan Gaucher. He's our teaching pro at Shaker. And I want them following through on those things. One of the things that I like to see guys do is spending time working on their short game. We can perfect how well we're hitting 5-iron on the range, but how many times do you hit 5-iron on the golf course? But we chip and putt on every single hole.
Right.
So I like to see guys spending their time working on their short game, which is very hard in the winter, but the guys find a way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, hit for show, putt for dough.
That's it.
Yeah, that's important.
We touched on this a little bit last time you were on, but I'm sure I have a whole slew of different listeners. The psychology of the game, man. You have to be a little bit of a head coach, not only coach on the course, but a little bit of their head games, right? You got to keep them straight.
It's probably the biggest thing that we do, and what we did this year, from year 1 to year 2 for me, is brought in reinforcements.
Okay.
My good friend Matt Clark, for listeners on the pod, Matt is one of the best players ever in this area, and he's been working with the team as an assistant, and just brings incredible value with the mental game, with the preparation, with the approach, which is really what is the difference. Because all these college players hit the ball 9 miles. They all hit 12, 13 greens. What do you need to do mentally to keep it glued together when you either don't have your swing, you're facing adversity, you're dealing with weather, you're dealing with slow play, all the things that drive us crazy that we can't let us derail your score.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one. The other thing is that Matt Buckley's dad, John Buckley, good friend of mine, brought in a former pro named Tim Nix, and Tim did a learning session with us over the winter, and he talked about all those things, the mental game, the approach. And I've been playing this game my whole life, and I learned stuff from Tim.
Yeah.
So we never know everything about this stupid game. And as much as we love it, we can always make improvements, and we can always keep learning at it.
Yeah. 100%.
Adam, maybe we need a psychiatrist on our Golf Week Amp tour.
No, just read a book. Just read a book. What was that? Tiger Woods book, How I Play Golf.
I can remember that, in the Peanuts, they'd have this, psychiatrist stand up there. You could have the stand, set it up near the 18th, and just have groups come off 18.
There you go.
Start
tell them your problems.
I mean, mentioning that, I think a lot of the golf pros do have like their own mental coaches that give them the exercises. I mean, a lot of us, who sit at home and watch the PGA Tour, and they're like, "Oh man, Rory, how did you miss that 4-footer?" And it's like, okay, man, you're eating potato chips on a couch.
Right.
Like Ricky Fowler says, "I'm out here putting, you're in the stands." So it's like, we take for granted, the mindset that these pros have, because I mean, if I'm sitting there and I have a 2-footer to win, a big tournament for $2.5 million purse. To be honest, I probably would miss it. You know what I mean? But these guys, they just treat it. It's fun to see. I mean, like Dustin Johnson, that guy, he can get a 12 on a hole and you wouldn't even notice it. So I mean, their sight game is incredible to me, beyond just their actual golf skills.
Some people think that, the Brysons that are the scientists, the physicists that have all the math and all the calculations, they have it right. And then the DJs who aren't thinking about anything, just whatever, go ahead.
Who knows what's in that guy's mind?
Yeah.
Or Brooks Koepka's the same way, kind of. Yeah. He just goes out there and plays. I think he even said, Brooks was like, I don't practice, dude. He's like, I just go to events. I go to the tournament and play. He's like, I don't practice. I mean, I don't know if I believe it, but
I mean, it's all routine to them. I mean, they'll go out and hit 200 balls at the range. They'll look at all of everybody has somewhat of science somewhat of stats. I mean, they're all using TrackMan. They're all, knowing their distances. They're doing their short game, their putting. But you see it more in certain, players like Bryson, because he's very meticulous on his, yardages. But then some guys, like you said, Brooks, he might just show up and hit 20 balls and then just go right out and still, like Scotty Scheffler, he got arrested. At where was it? Was it the Masters?
No. It was U.S. PGA.
US Open, I think. PGA Championship.
Yeah, this guy's heading into to warm up. He gets arrested and he banged out a 5 under that round.
He was not guilty, by the way, Adam. Just like OJ.
He's
not guilty.
He's not guilty. But that to me was unbelievable, that a guy who shows up to a golf course, gets arrested, comes in, I think, like 35, 40 minutes before his tee time, and he shoots a 5 or 6 under.
Yeah, he literally had an orange jumpsuit on that morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
And don't forget, he was doing his warm up and his workout in the jail cell.
Yep.
So he got released.
Yeah, that's just nuts to me. Like, I mean, that is absolutely incredible that he did that. Like, I mean, if I get arrested, I ain't making my tee time.
So Matt, we last time we spoke, that has not happened yet. I need to know your take on that whole Scotty thing, man. What's your take on that? With that, what was that morning when you saw it happen? I got to know what was going through your head, man.
Was it the PGA?
It was the PGA.
It was
Valhalla.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny, and the idea that would actually happen. And I mean, it's Scotty Scheffler. I mean,
he's like an angel. He's like the angel of like the PGA. Like he's like oh shucks. Like he's like
he's a big time Christian, big time religious guy. He's very straightforward, very
family
nice
guy. Yep.
His interviews are very very humbling.
Yeah.
It's something that happens to regular guys on the way to the course, not the best player in the world.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's something you see from Tiger, sitting on the side of the road, drugged up and gets arrested. What was that, like 5 years ago where he got arrested?
Yeah,
but that mug shot.
He was actually on, but he was like, he had problems,
Tiger
had
injuries.
He had injuries, which caused him having he was on pain pills. And then I think he was just.
Yeah, he was just hanging out in his car and he didn't drive. But, I couldn't believe that. Yeah.
I mean,
Scotty.
I hope, I think Tiger's over that phase, hopefully, because he had some serious issues.
He did.
Yeah.
Let's stay on some of the mental stuff of the game. We kind of shift away from.
Sure, I want to.
I mean, talk to me. Tell me about some of the things that you guys or some of the other guys play on the tour. What do you face? What do they struggle with? How do they have difficulty like staying positive out on the course? Because you got to stay positive somehow. And you got to have a short memory.
Yeah, Adam, you want to touch that?
Yeah, first? I mean, for as a director, a lot of guys, I see how they are. I try to play with a lot of different guys. I think we have a triple bogey max for our 8th or D flight for pace of play purposes.
Good idea.
But when somebody gets a triple, I mean, immediately that's it. I mean, they're gone. Like they just get mad. They start just not caring. They just, they're just hitting it. And, and I tell these guys all the time, I said, listen, you might get a triple, but if you get 3 pars or even 2 pars and a bogey, you're going to be right back in it, or if they start bad, so, a lot of times that's it. Their mind just shuts down. They're like, whatever, I'm just playing for skins.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
I used to do it bad. I mean, I've gotten a lot better. I used to do it like where if I would get like 2 doubles in a row, then I'd start getting frustrated.
Yeah.
That would be, and then I would lose my focus and that would just compile. And that's like my problem of not being able to break 80, just being right there, is the whole mental part. Like, I know I can swing the club. I know my practicing every day is helping. I just have the mental part, 80% of golf is mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's getting better. Like I used to get mad at myself. I wouldn't scream, yell, or nothing like that, but I would get mad at myself, call myself names, and I've gotten a lot better by not doing that.
Yeah.
It shows.
I usually give myself the whole. Like I'll give myself, like if I spoke on this a couple weeks ago, Adam, at one of the spotlights. Like if I do get the triple and I pick up, I will soak in my sorrows for that hole, but I'll forget about it, man. Once I go up to the next tee box, it's game time. You have to, dude. You have to. But Man, I get a lot of that just pressure around the greens, man. That's where I go to Adam a lot before an event. He works with me a lot with the chipping, and his philosophy is just, just act like you're putting, just around the green, just a nice little soft. He tells me, it's Adam. What's the way you tell me about?
For me, I used to have struggled chipping.
Yes.
I used to be like any other amateur that they think it's just like a normal shot. They take it back and then they try to decelerate on the way back to try to break it. I said, listen, go 2 or 3 feet back and just power through it.
That's right.
I mean, I could grab my 56 degree, 54 degree, and I can swing a quarter swing and the ball will go 70 yards. Because it all comes down to the last 2.5 feet of your swing where you're going to get all the power and your movement.
Yeah, Adam always tells me don't decelerate. That's his biggest thing.
I mean, even if we were talking about it before we got on the podcast, and we were saying like, do you often use a putter to off the apron, like if you're like the Texas wedge? I said if you feel like I forgot one of the professionals, they said it. I mean, it's a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will grab a wedge and they will be scared immediately. They'd be like, oh my goodness, I didn't hit the green. I'm done. I'm getting a bogey. That's it. That's it. Right as they're walking to their third shot, they're off the green. Their short game is so bad that they're going to say, well, that's it. I mean, if you have a chance to hit a putter, why not? You're going to be consistent. But I mean, the main thing is just, mentally just be confident.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, all right, whatever, I didn't hit the green. I'm going to try to really focus on this. I'm going to power through my chip. I'm going to keep my club going. I'm going to try to get it on up and down for, worst case bogey.
Yep.
So I've seen so many guys that, they get so scared, they have no confidence. So they get up there and, they're lying 2 and they'll walk out with a 6 or 7. They'll flub it, they'll duff it, they'll thin it, and then they just pick up and say, whatever.
Adam makes good points, and he used the word confidence more than once. We have to play with confidence. And if you're playing a shot that you don't have confidence in, then you should do something else. You really should. We have to, Anthony asked about things we do with the team. Well, part of my job is to have players be confident and help them, because confident players play well.
Mm-hmm.
And when we all have it going, man, we have all the confidence in the world.
Yeah.
Well, what about when we don't? Okay. Do we have that ability to stay very present, to put those bad holes or bad shots behind us quickly, and at the same time not get too far ahead of themselves? Because really the only shot that matters is the one that we're playing right now.
Yeah.
And your score really doesn't matter on the whole because it's just one shot.
Yeah.
We really should do a better job as amateur players in staying present during the round of golf. It's way harder than it sounds, but try it next time you play.
Yeah. I mean, confidence, with confidence in golf, it's not saying, walking up to the, getting out of your car, walking with your head high, saying, I'm going to beat everybody bad today. I'm going to smash everybody. Obviously there's, it's okay to, if you look at your competition and say, I'm going to try, I'm really going to do my best today. I'm going to get this dub, that's fine. But, for me, my confidence comes from the fact that, when you do step up on the tee and you do have like trees to your left, sand to your right, water hazard, you just say, whatever, I'm going to bang this out in the fairway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to knock this out, in the park. It's like, if you have a par 3 with water, I tell guys all the time, I said, oh my gosh, this is that par 3 with water. And I said, why did you say that to yourself? That's just a parking lot. That's not water. Or just look above the flag, and you take that whole mental scene right out of your head.
Yep.
And then next thing you know it, you put it on the green and they're like, wow, that was one of the best shots I had because you didn't think about the water.
No.
You didn't think about the woods. If you have a dog leg, a dog left par 4, don't hit your driver. Maybe you have your 3-wood, maybe your 3-iron, you can control it better than your driver. Just have confidence, get out there, hit the club that you need. If you have a 360-yard hole, and don't just always grab your driver, hit a 6-iron and then a 9-iron.
Yeah.
Whatever clubs are your best fit in your bag, be confident and grab them because those will help your score.
Yep. And then Florida Mike, we had your coach on a couple weeks ago, and I love what he said, and he touched up on when you get in trouble a little bit about taking your medicine. Like, don't try, especially us C&D guys, don't try and hit the ball 200 yards out of the rough. Like you're probably not going to get it there more than likely, especially if there's like a lot of sand in play or even water. Like take your 7-iron, get it out there, put it in the middle of the fairway, and give yourself a nice 80, 90 yards wedge shot in. Because you're probably not gonna get it on there from 200 yards with a hybrid or a 3-wood out of the rough. I mean, I'm not, but I've always in my mind,
I'm sure Matt, who's probably older than all of us, but I'm up there too, Matt. Don't worry.
No, I'm older than you, bro.
But I mean, how many times, as a coach, as somebody who plays a lot of golf, I mean, how many times do you see somebody who's probably above a 15 handicap? They'll be on a par 5, they hit in the rough, and the first club they always grab out of their bag is just the 3-wood. 3-wood. Why are you grabbing that? You could barely see a quarter of the ball. Do you know what a 3-wood does? And they're like, oh, I mean, I got 280 yards in. I was like, okay, well, you're not going to. And then they, like the 80 yards down, and they're chucking their club. They're mad at the cart. They jump in the car. I hate golf. Why am I? It's like I told you. Just
next time,
what I mean?
Next time, tell them put that away before you hurt yourself. Right?
Sure.
Put that away.
Or just take them to Bethpage Black and throw it in the rough, and now say hit your 3-wood now.
Well, come to Florida. Tell them to come to Florida and play in our rough.
It's just just take your medicine, and if you have a bad tee shot on a par 5, don't get frustrated that you didn't hit the fairway.
Yeah.
Just say, whatever, I'm going to get par.
Dude, I have to go back and talk about Bethpage in the rough. I had it was one of the podcasts, Golf Life Metals. He makes ball markers. His home course. He lives right there, and he plays all the Bethpages all the time. And he says he watches people trying to get it out of the rough, and he just lets he'll give them he gives them like a warning. He's like, guys, he said I've seen people literally break their twist, sprain their wrist to where they can't finish the round. They tried digging it out with with a 5-iron or 4-iron or something. He's like, you got to get out of that with a wedge, dude. What are you doing?
You just got to that's what the pros do.
Yeah, no. And he says he see people blow their knees out because they're trying to just literally muscle it out of this rough with a 3-wood or 2. He's like, what are you doing? People are crazy, man. Take your medicine, especially there.
This is good advice for players of all level. And in fact, our team, we get back from a trip and we put our gear in our cars, and then we stand around and talk for a little while before we say goodbye. And we talked about reducing big numbers. And these are really good players. Yeah. And we're talking about reducing big numbers because they add up so quickly, and there's no shame in a stress-free bogey. Yeah. Versus trying to force in a 15-footer for a par just because it makes us feel good that we made a par. But then when we run it 3 feet back, missed a comeback, or we made a double. And that's just wasteful. Yeah. It's just wasteful. So for our C&D players listening for us, anytime somebody who's a higher handicap player asks me, Matt, what do you do? What do I do in this situation? What do you do? The first thing I'll try to work on them with is reducing their big numbers. Let me see your card. How'd you make triple on the 5th hole? How'd you make triple on 11? Tell me about that. What did you do? Was it a bad swing and then is immediately compounded to Adam and Anthony's point by making a bad decision? Why?
Yeah.
Let's change our decision right there and make a good decision to figure out what we got to do to make a bogey and get the H out of there and get to the next tee.
Yeah, okay? For sure.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Pulling out that 3-wood that you described or what Mike described, that's a bad decision. Whether it comes on the heels of a good shot or bad shot, doesn't matter. That's a bad decision. Yeah.
So this is a good question for you too, because we have a lot of 2-day tournaments in our tour. A lot of the times, I just want to get through day one, in the hunt, and sometimes it just feels like such a grind. Those last 5 or 6 holes, Adam, of day one, and I'm saying to myself, just get me through day one. A lot of the times, because I don't know the course. But what is some advice you have just to grind through those last? So golf, the round is a long game, man. It's a long mental game, and I just want some advice to really help me muscle through those.
For me, quickly. I mean, when I play in a 2-day or in a 3-day, I don't play to grind. I play to be in the lead on day one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll go more aggressive on day one because of the fact that if my shots work out, then I could have a big lead.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to grind when you're in the lead than it is to grind the first day because you're being more cautious, and it actually can hurt you.
Okay.
Because for me, if I do that, I can like I said, I could just sell on my swings. I could overswing on certain holes. Maybe I'm a little bit too. Maybe I could hit a driver, but I'm like, well, maybe I'll hit a 3-iron, and now I got 180, 190 yards on a shorter par 4. Or so for me, I mean, if you're day one, you always want to be a little bit more aggressive, and then try to
100%
figure it out day two. In my opinion.
Yeah, Mike, you go.
Yeah, I agree. I think like when I played it the year I won nationals, I was aggressive on day one. It was the easier course, and I was down 1, and then we went to the harder course. So I knew I could be aggressive, but just in certain areas. And I ended up doing well the second day, and I was up by 5 going into the third. And like the whole mental thing, like I was pretty nervous going up on the third day, so I actually went because I was 2 for 2 fairways with the driver, but I actually went down to a 4-iron on the third day, the first hole, just so I made sure I got it into the fairway. And then after that, I was pretty good as far as the nerves go. But I'm with Adam. I have a problem. Like I don't have a problem laying up. I just don't like to do it most times, only because I usually mess up. Now, like me hitting to a number, like if I'm on a par 5 and I know I'm not going to get there, obviously I want to hit into my short game numbers because that's my strong suit. So I always aim for the 100-yard mark. If I know I'm not getting there on a par 5 and 2, I aim for the 100. I don't care how far it takes me to get there.
Yeah.
I could hit a 5-iron, I could hit an 8-iron. Just whatever gets me to that number.
That's your confident. That's your confident number.
Yeah, that's you land on a shot where you have confidence, Mike, and that's really smart. So, Anthony, I'm going to kind of answer your question with a question.
Yeah.
Because we've been in this situation where we're playing stroke play, we're grinding, we're working hard. We have a few holes left. Do we ever say something like, well, geez, if I par in, that'll be X. That'll be blank.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I do that. Should I not?
Don't.
Yeah.
We have
dog.
Yes, we have to stay present.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And the present is the shot that we're working on. So that's got to be a tool that should help immediately, Anthony, is take that scorecard and put it out of your mind.
I was just going to say, should I not? Now I'm guilty of this. I scoreboard watch as well. By like the 10th or 11th hole, I am looking at it. And sometimes it's because I feel like I could be in the hunt and I want to see what kind of golf I have to play. But then sometimes I see I'm like, 8-9 strokes back and it takes everything out of me.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good point you just made, but go ahead.
For scratch players, for lower handicap players, there might be someone moving, there might not. With you guys, there's a lot of volatility. So watching the scorecard is probably less relevant than it is for better players.
Absolutely.
Now, when I won my second championship at Normanside a couple years ago, I didn't watch the scoreboard at all. I didn't want to know. I wasn't in the last group. I was in the group before, which was a good spot to be in. And my son, Chris, I got to give a shout out to Chris. Chris is a very good player, was a semifinalist in the club championship at Shaker last year, and has been studying abroad in Spain all semester. He'll be home in a couple weeks. But, Chris was working in the bag room at Shaker at the time. And when I came off 9, I was very steady. I was very steady on the front, was even or 1 over. And he just said to me, he knows I hate watching the scoreboard. And he just said to me, just keep doing what you're doing.
Nice.
Staying present. And that's if that scoreboard, another way to look at it, some guys, if it's a distraction, put it away. And ask yourself, everybody listening, on the pod, if it's not a distraction from what you're doing, which is staying present and hitting the shot that you're on, fine. Okay, fine. But if it's a distraction, start the new season trying to live without it and see what your results are like.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, it's
I agree.
like the score watching. I mean, for me, when I play or I try to tell anybody who, I mean, I'm not a coach, I'm not a collegiate coach, or but I do, I try to do my best to help anybody who asks for help. I tell them, like, listen, set a goal for yourself before you start the round. Set it for today. I want to shoot an 88 or an 85. And then focus on that. Don't worry about the scorecard. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Just do your best. For me, I like to look at, well, I have to because I'm a director, but so I have to look at it and make sure everybody's in, make sure all the scores are in. I always look at the scoreboard because, when I first played my live scoring event in the tour in Myrtle Beach, I had 2 holes left. I saw I was down 1 stroke and the guy just finished two holes ahead of me, and I went birdie and ended up winning. For me, it gave me a little bit of motivation because what I thought I was doing was playing mediocre golf. I look finally and I say, oh, I'm only 1 back. All right, that's not bad. So it fueled me. But some people, like, Anthony, you said earlier, like 8 or 9 strokes back, what you did is you just immediately shut your confidence down. You said, oh, I have no chance. But in reality, our C and D flights, you would be amazed that probably in every tournament, the leaderboard probably changes 10 to 12 times every tournament.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
Yeah. You put a
champ flight, maybe once or twice. If I get 2 triples in 2 or 3 triples in a tournament and a champ flight round, that's it.
You're done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
And that's a great example too, because what was it? Like my very first tournament this year, obviously, it was real cold, and I think I went I'm C flight, but I went 13 over through the first 6 holes.
Yeah.
And I don't scoreboard watch, but I know that if I can play well, I have a chance. And I ended up going from second to last. I ended up going 3 over through the final 12, and I lost by 1, and I got second.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like I tell people, especially that join the tour, and they ask me about, do you scoreboard watch? I tell them I personally don't. If I'm playing well enough, I should know that I'm at the top. If I'm playing terrible, I know I have a chance, so just stay in it. And I'll probably check with 3 holes left. I'll check, but I tell the new guys, I'm like, either you watch it from the beginning all the way through, or you don't watch it at all. Because I feel like the new guys, like especially high handicappers, if they don't look at it and then they see it, then I feel like there's some, especially if they're winning, then they put a lot of pressure on themselves. Because now they're like, oh man, now I got the lead. And then they try to change what they're doing. And I see people tank it all the time doing that.
Yeah.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Everyone, it is a long grind out there. And do we want to, it's hard to maintain your concentration for 4+ straight hours. So for the individual player, what do you need? What do you need to check it? And it helps get it out of your mind. Okay, I'm back to focusing on the shot. As long as when you're ready to play that shot, you're focused and you're committed on what you're trying to do for that one shot that you're trying to execute.
Yeah.
Then, okay, every player is a little different. Think about Gen Z. College players are Gen Z. They're on their phone constantly, and you keep score on your phone. So it's such an easy distraction. There's no more paper scorecards in these tournaments anymore.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's hard. You can't just say don't do it. We have to manage it as players as best that we want.
Yeah, you got to be smooth, confident, and have fun.
Yeah.
True. All right, guys, let's take this episode's getting away, and I haven't given our sponsors a read yet, so we're just going to give them a quick read. And I want to talk a little baseball before we close things out, because Matt and I are diehard Mets fan, and we have a Phillies guy sitting on the couch over there.
I don't want to ask, but do we have a scoring update?
I will check in the break. I'll check in the break, guys.
That's probably losing.
It was 4-1 when I got here.
We'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back.
And we had won.
Is your swimming pool looking more like a pond these days? Don't sweat it. Swimming Pool Repair Experts has your back. Since 2000, Swimming Pool Repair Experts has been the trusted name for top-notch in-ground pool renovations across the greater capital region. From liner changes and pool bottom refinishing to plumbing repairs, opening, closings, and stunning upgrades like lighting, benches, stairs, and decks, Swimming Pool Repair Experts does it all. Their expert team is ready to bring your pool back to life so you can dive into some summer fun. Because what's better than taking a nice dip after a long round of golf? Get a hold of Jim over at Swimming Pool Repair Experts today at 518-858-2587. That's 518-858-2587. Or check his website out, swimmingpoolrepairexperts.com. And don't forget to tell Jim that you heard about him on the Upstate Golf Guys podcast for that extra discount.
Hey, Mike, you know anybody does any roofing?
Actually, I do, Raj.
Who you got for me, man?
Dude named Tom Murphy did my boss's roof. Actually does hands-on work.
Gets right up there on the roof, huh? The owner of the company?
Yeah, he does. Knows his shit, too.
That's awesome, man. Is this Thomas Paul Construction?
Yep, that's him.
Man, I heard nothing but good things about them. I'm actually on their Facebook page right now looking up some things. The pictures, the aerial view, they're really cool. He gets up there with the drone. You can see the before and afters of some of the work they've done. Go check them out on Facebook. They're a new sponsor here, the Upstate Golf Guys, so make sure you guys go support Thomas Paul Construction, Roofing and Siding. Thomas Paul Construction LLC is a full-service construction company who specializes in roofing and siding, covering the greater capital region. You can reach them at 518-308-6794. Once again, 518-308-6794. And make sure to go check out their Facebook page, see some pictures of what they've done in the past, and let them know the Upstate Golf Guys sent you.
And they just built an awesome new website to show off their beautiful work, 518roofingandsiding.com. Go check it out.
Hey there, golfers. Before we dive back into the podcast, I want to take a quick moment to talk about someone who's got your back both on and off the course. Jared Lozier with the Northeastern Insurance Agency. Whether you're running a golf business, managing a pro shop, or just looking to protect what matters most in your personal life, Jared and his team at Northeastern Insurance have you covered. From business insurance to personal policies, they'll help you find the right coverage at the best value. Here's a pro tip for all you golfers out there. Make sure your golf clubs are protected too. Jared can help you add them to your home or personal articles policy so you're covered in case of loss, theft, or damage. Because let's face it, replacing your favorite driver isn't cheap. So next time you're looking to upgrade your coverage or need expert advice, give Jared Lozier a call at 518-956-3753 or shoot him an email at jaredl@nemail.com. Swing into better protection today.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. You wanted me to check the score, and we won, baby. We won.
Hey, I got to bounce. My boss just called me, my golf boss. So I gotta take the call, and I will see you in a little bit.
Catch you guys later. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for coming on,
Boys,
buddy.
pleasure. Love y'all.
Love you too, buddy.
Later, Mike.
Bye, Mike. Yeah, buddy. Pete Alonso hit a 3-run shot in the 8th. Let's go.
Congratulations. You are now 3-3.
Yes, we are. Woohoo, woohoo. So
I know the Phillies are winning right now against the Rockies, but
all right. Who? The Rockies? They're still a baseball team?
They still have a team.
Yeah, but if you go to your cell phone and you type in MLB standings, you'll see the Phillies. I believe they're on top of your icon.
Yeah. Cue up the Lindor.
Now listen. The Phillies were disappointing last year to me towards the end in the playoffs. I had high hopes for them. I thought that they were gonna make a run to the series, but fell through. So it is what it is. But that division is getting a little bit more competitive, so that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nationals are not looking too great, but the Marlins, the Mets, the Phillies, they're all, and the Braves, of course. But it's a good division.
How about Profar? 80 games got nicked. 80 games this morning.
Really?
Yeah. PEDs.
Oh no!
Yeah.
How are they still doing that? Knowing they get checked,
How
man.
stupid are they?
Really, it is really dumb.
Speaking of baseball, have you guys ever seen the show Eastbound and Down?
Yes.
Okay.
You haven't seen it?
No.
No, it's HBO. Oh God.
I watched it when it first came out years and years and years ago, and then
Kenny effing Powers.
I just watched the I just watched the 4 seasons over the last 3-4 days. It's just too funny.
Is it really?
Stevie and Kenny Powers.
I forgot about Stevie.
Kenny freaking Powers.
Oh my God! It is. You would get a kick out of it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you would like.
If you're a baseball guy, definitely.
Yeah.
But
no, it'd be interesting. I mean, good season, a lot of good teams, a lot of changes were made this year.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'm bringing up the video that you sent me, Coach. So let's keep this conversation going while I bring up the screen share. What I want to know what your thoughts of Soto. Is he going to come through this year for us?
Yeah, he'll be good. I mean, the lineup's good, and you know, you got Vientos, you got Alonso protecting him in the lineup.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll be good. That team will hit.
Yes, I mean, listen, Pete he just hit another bomb, so I think he's ready. Now that's 2 home runs in the last 3 games for Pete. So if he could step it up, man, jeez,
Yeah,
you gotta be a hitter in that division.
Yeah. No, I think is it the best? Do you think it's the best division in baseball? One of them.
I would say.
Yeah, I still think
Kind
the
of.
AL East will be good too. The Sox are better. You know, the Yankees will be good.
Well, the
Baltimore
Yankees-
should be good again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Rays are good.
Yeah, so I think they'll
It's
be
like
good
the both East teams, like both AL and NL East. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
those central divisions now are just all kind of, I don't know. It's nobody really over there scares me.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, man, you were over there. Tell me a little bit about the playoff game over there at Citi Field.
This is actually a great story.
I want to hear it.
So I was supposed to go to Florida for work. I was playing golf Sunday morning at Shaker, and I was supposed to go like at 4:00 for work. And I just randomly checked my email, and the conference I was supposed to go to got canceled because of the hurricane that came up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to tell anyone until like the end of the day tomorrow. I'm just going to, you know, I work remotely. I'm just going to go in my office upstairs, get a lot of work done. Don't tell anybody so no one can bother me all day. So it's Monday morning, and I am watching the Benny Agbayani home run from 2000 against the Cardinals or Giants. I forget. And anyway, Shea Stadium just went berserk when he hit this home run. You know what I'm talking about. It was the Cardinals, yeah. And I'm watching it, and my nephew Jim and all my nephews, my brother Mike, my sister-in-law, all my nephews, my son Chris, all Mets fans. And here I am watching the Agbayani home run on repeat on Twitter. And Jim texts me out of nowhere and says, "Hey, Uncle Matt, do you want to go to the game tomorrow night?" So I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
we got tickets. He's like, "I'll be at your house at noon tomorrow." And he was right on schedule. We hopped in. We went down to Citi Field, had a best time, had a great game, got to see a win. And we were just buzzing.
That was last year?
Yeah. Well, I have
against the Phillies.
Let's see it. I have it right here for us to watch the video. You sent me this the night of. I think this is right after we got the W. But
yeah, that was rough. That was rough last year.
So those of you who like Kiss, the Mets victory song is "Back in the New York Groove" by Kiss. So
love it.
One of my faves.
I've been wanting to go to a playoff game for my whole life. Anytime, you know, I really wanted to go in 2015 or 16, 15. It was 15, right? 2015 or 16. It's 16 we went on the run. I always mix it up when we
when we have these 9 and 10 year droughts in between playoffs,
no,
we
but it was
do without that.
when we lost to the Royals in the World Series.
15,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
I know. Bitter.
I'm so bitter about that, but
yeah, definitely a playoff. Postseason baseball is nothing like regular. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, so
I mean, a lot of people I know, they don't even watch baseball until the postseason.
Yeah, just a different game.
Yeah.
It's the pressure on it. But yeah, like the I'm thinking it wasn't even a playoff, it was the World Series. But how cool would it have been to been at Citi Field when they were singing the Billy Joel Piano Man? You remember that? You remember that between the 7th and 8th inning, 7th inning stretch? And he was there, and he was
such a great place for a ball game.
So cool, man, so cool. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's gonna be a fun golf season. I'm really looking forward to getting out there with you. We're gonna get out there this year, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
You want to play Shaker right after the U.S. Open qualifier or right before?
I mean, listen, you're inviting me over there. I'll play anytime you want, and you're welcoming me to your club, my friend. So
we'll make that happen.
I would love that, sir. Really, that would be amazing.
Yeah, we will make that happen. That would be great.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. really thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck this year on the season. I think you're doing big things over there in RPI, Matt. I really do.
Appreciate that. I love the support of you guys and all the guys on the pod. Our little school here in Troy, New York, we have great players and great kids, and want to see them succeed in the worst way. And it's really fun to be part of.
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely, Matt.
That's
really
great about
cool.
a college. Even having that dedication to the kids and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah,
we do it. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Goes
Matt.
a long way.
For sure. You think we'll be able to steal you for an event this year as a guest over at the Golf Week Am Tour?
Yeah, I play a pretty aggressive tournament schedule in the myself in the summer. Angela's a saint. She's just a flat out saint, putting up with my
your wife.
schedule.
I love it. I have a saint as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when they put up with golfers, man. And Adam has a saint as well.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been to my house, who's listening, we have this calendar in the 12-month a year calendar in the kitchen. And I'm just like filling in this invitational, and I got invited to this, and I'm playing in this member guest, and I got invited to that. I'm going, and it just looks like.
Well, Adam, if you had to suggest, obviously 2 days are tough for a one-day tournament. What's probably the nicest one? Well, we have country clubs on the track. You should come to one of the club events. We have.
we have Albany Country Club, which is a Saturday, but we have Pine Haven Country Club of Troy. That would be a good one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then Norman Side, we have a 1 day there.
I was a member at Norman Side for a long time.
Did you have a shout out for Norman Side?
Yeah. So, my boys that I played with all the time, long time ago, still really good friends. Steve Owens, one of the best players ever at that club. Packy McGraw, a local legend, one of the few guys that's been club champion and senior club champion simultaneously at Norman Side. Marty Hull, the king of tailgate parties, my best friends for so many years, beating it around Norman Side. So, yeah, definitely a great place. It's great to see them doing so well over there. Dave Fosdick,
and then they
really
just
good
have that
friend of
new
mine.
they have that new bar area that just put up like that where the old putting green used to be.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's all redone, but I love Norman Side.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, we'll definitely make that happen.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Hey, I'd love to have you on the Golf Week Am Tour.
Yeah, man, sure. Coach, it's been a pleasure. We're gonna have you on again, man. I want you a regular. You're always welcome here in studio. It's fun. I consider you a friend, man.
You're the best.
It's awesome, man. It's been a lot of fun. Anything else you have to say to the listeners, man?
Yeah,
Anybody else? Any shout outs?
Listen, go have a great season, guys. Go have fun. It's the best game in the world. Go out and enjoy it. Good, bad, or indifferent. Go out and enjoy it.
Absolutely. All right, Adam. Have a wonderful night, sir. Thank you for coming over and joining the pod.
Yeah,
it was fun. It's always fun having you in the studio, brother.
Yeah, get signed up, amateurgolftour.net. Join us this summer.
There you go, man. All right, everybody, have a great night. And don't forget to check us out this weekend. We're going to be in D.C. competing, 7 of us. So go follow golfweekamtour.com. Go search for the D.C. Metro and the scoreboard, and you'll
just look for Adam on top.
Yeah, this guy.
Confidence. Right. We just talked about that, Reno. We just talked about it.
Sir. Sir. Gotta believe. All right, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. Have a good night.